Coalition of United Political Parties has denounced the recent statement attributed to the suspended River State Governor, Siminalayi Fubara, that his spirit has already left the government house and that he is reluctant to return to his seat even if reinstated. CUPP, in a statement by its National Secretary, Chief Peter Amen, noted that the remarks undermine the collective struggle to defend Nigeria's 1999 constitution on the alleged infraction committed by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu over their declaration of emergency rule in River State. CUPP asserts that Fubara's acquiescence is a betrayal of the millions who resisted Tinubu's authoritarian overreach, as it was never about Fubara's personal sentiments but about upholding constitutional democracy. It noted the fight was about restoring constitutional order, not absolving Fubara's errors. By framing his suspension as personal liberation, Fubara misrepresents the struggle, risking further destabilization of River State and emboldening the APC's alleged state capture agenda. His earlier commitment to peace and constitutional order, expressed on March 19, 2025, is contradicted by this capitulation, alienating supporters and staining the collective efforts to resist tyranny. Your reluctance to return, even if reinstated, disrespects the sacrifices of Nigerians who challenged Tinubu's actions from the streets to the courts. The MBA and Nobel laureate Wole Soyinka have called the emergency unconstitutional and excessive, yet your stance risks legitimizing such overreach. You must recommit to your constitutional mandate and stand firm against authoritarianism. CUPP calls on Fubara to retract his statements and reaffirm his commitment to democratic principles. The people of River State and Nigeria deserve leaders who uphold the rule of law and not those who abandon the fight, CUPP says. Let me start with you, Amy Ferraga. What do you make of the story?
You see, there is this saying that as a man thinketh, so he is. It tells you, if you look at this part of the scripture critically, it's actually tell you the imbued of a man, what made a man. And if I should just oppose this with a statement of Governor Siminalayi Fubara, I think the CUPP are overreaching themselves, because the man has not spoken anything aside what he has portrayed himself to be for people like us who love looking at issue critically, examining them and analyzing them into two. Fubara has not shown anything aside who he is that he has shown to us or taught us that he is. This is a man who will tell you that the 8-point, whatever he called it, agenda, that was what he said, 8-point agreement. Let me use his exact word. 8-point agreement. It's not a death sentence. But he later said that obedient to this 8-point agreement is not a big sacrifice or too much of a huge sacrifice to do. But later we now find people going to court. Hand of Esau, voice of Jacob. Voice of Jacob, hands of Esau. We began to see people like situation like that. And later on, the same man who said he will do everything to ensure that peace was established then and the agreement was totally implemented, did otherwise. We also saw a situation where he has said one thing and does another. So if the man have said his spirit has left the government house and is reaching out for peace, talking to people, begging people, even begging people to help him beg again for him to return to power. So what is different from what he has been doing, what he has been saying? So he has only showed us that this is double standard. He tells you one thing to the one I have known. He tells you this is where I'm going, and he does another. He see people that they actually look at him and understand the man very well. So he has said his spirit has left government house, but he's actually working how he can transport his spirit, in fact his body, to the government that his spirit has left. So you see, still this double standard. I don't want to use contradiction. No. I say double standard.
Okay, double standard.
Double standard. So that Nigerians will see that he's actually a man of peace. So I think leaders and people should understand that there are people who listen to words. After listening to this word, they want to follow through to see if actually what this person is saying is what actually that he has in his heart. And that is where Governor Fubara is doing it. Then for CUPP, a scripture book also said that by their fruits do we know them. CUPP have been in Rivers State. Why I'm going this part now is because some of our elites, they have this attitude of brandishing words. And if you are not careful, they will mislead you. You will stand on the wrong path thinking that you are on the right path. From what they said, that they are resisting the tyranny in Rivers State. And if I should check what is tyranny, if a governor that was elected and other persons were elected in line with the provision of Nigeria Constitution, and they call them the Assembly of the States, and 27 of them were solely derecognized and partially sacked by a governor who lacks such power, and CUPP didn't see this as authoritarianism, they didn't see this as enemy of democracy, but rather applauded it and celebrated it. But today they are telling that the declaration of emergency rule in Rivers State is undemocratic. It tells you who they are. It tells you what's run through their mind and the position they have taken. If CUPP could be in Rivers State and saw that a governor who lacks such power decided to withhold the allocation of 4 local governments just because he hate the faces of those chairmen, CUPP didn't say anything. It was okay. But today they are telling you that a declaration of emergency that is captured in section 305 of the 1990 Constitution as amended is unconstitutional and illegal. It tells you who they are.
I think the focus is not on the state of emergency, but on the suspension of the governor, the deputy governor, and the River State House of Assembly.
The suspension, that is why I started from the ground of derecognition done by who? The governor. And I use the word solely, meaning there was no backing of the law, there was no backing of the court, but the governor, being an executive governor elected by reason of our constitution, decided on his own to say these people are no longer members of Rivers State Assembly, and CUPP did see this as a threat to our democracy.
All right.
They did see it as a tyrannical behavior in a democratic setting. It tells you who they are. So they are only seeing from one premise, one lens, while the other one is blind. So I don't really blame them. I blame the society where politics has been taken to a dimension of hate. Hate in the sense that people don't bother to look at what is spoken against this person. Is it true or not? And who is actually making this statement? Is the person correct or not? As long as we don't like this person, so whatever that he said against the person is correct, is the fact. And the person who is saying whether he's right or wrong, he is correct.
All right.
So we take these things like that. So I just want to advise CUPP, if truly you represent all political parties in Rivers State and you are standing for the interests of Rivers State, then you should be able to estray actions and place them according to the rules of engagement.
All right, very well. Honorable Kingsley Akumefule, what do you make of the story and the position of CUPP and, of course, the governor's statement, the suspended governor's statement during Pa Edwin Clark's memorial service?
Okay, let me begin from the governor's statement. The governor, like he said, that he is one who wears the shoe and he knows where he pitches him. You know, the governor has seen that he is no longer able to fight the war that he had thought he had the strength to fight ab initio. Some time ago, I was here with my friend Chizzy, and I told Chizzy that they are only what the Bible called him, the counsel of Ahithophels. Those counsels today, the truth is coming up. You know, when you see the wrong, you call it right. And because there is something you want to gain, that was what Ahithophel did. So try to cancel the wrong counsel just because of his interest. Those who were very busy advising Governor Sim to do what was wrong, today they are all not there to witness what the man is passing through. And if you notice, for some time they've been very quiet and silent. They are no longer talking. Because the governor had realized that all the boasts he made, I am in charge, I decide what happens to these, they are only there because I left them and all that. Today, all those boasts are no longer there. The governor is now shouting, he's crying. Like my colleague said, he's begging and even asking people to beg on his behalf and all that. The governor is in pains as it is today because he was unable to consolidate on the mandate that was given to him because he was listening to political failures, those who wanted to get on the minister because he won them, you know. That's exactly what is happening. But my challenge is not even what CUPP is saying. My challenge is on the governor who, after all the women had done for him, going under the rain and under the sun, wearing uniform, crying and all that, today he's not telling them that they have dark minds.
Unforgiving.
He's calling them unforgiving,
bitter,
those who are bitters and they are resentful, they are this and that. Chey, Governor Sim, is this how you pay back those who suffered for you? You know, when we were telling those women that they were just wasting their time, they thought we were joking. Today, the same man that they were shouting for, cry every day in the rain, in the sun, wearing uniforms and all that. Today, the man has denied you, betrayed you, and even called you names that have black hearts, dark hearts, unforgiving spirit and all that. That shows to us how Sim can go, the far he can go, just for the quest to hold on to power. The quest to hold on to power. So most times we don't die for people that don't want it. I have been crying long ago. I know this kind of people. I've been crying. A man who just within 2-3 months pulled out from a man that picked you from nothing and made you governor in a state of ours, Rivers, where he couldn't have even won a local government election. And somebody made you a governor of a state. Less than a month, you pulled out and started calling him names, no longer respecting the man who brought you from nowhere, and people are happy supporting this same person. Women who should have gone to him and said, sir, we need you to reconcile with your brother and friend who made you what you had today. Right? They were calling the man names and all that. This was wrong. And today I'm ashamed. I'm ashamed of those women. What would they tell their children? Some even went naked on the road, showing their nakedness just to support a man who doesn't deserve the support they gave to him. And today the same man has abandoned them, called them names and all that. Shame to you. And so for CUPP, they are in politics. They are, like I said, politics is interest. Perhaps their interest to continue to collect from Sim due to the crisis has ended or is coming to an end. So they felt that, the source for which we are getting our daily bread has ended. So they can say whatever they want to say. But they forgot, like my friend said, that some persons have spent 7 months, almost a year and in their houses, even when they were elected, same day with the same governor. They had the same mandate. In fact, democracy is anchored on legislature. These are the persons who even hold the strength of democracy in the country, the legislatures. And they had no place in government they were elected, no salary, no nothing. And these same people have been singing praises for the governor who solely took a decision that he doesn't have the powers. And people are questioning the president who actually acted on a constitution that he and the governor were not crafters of that constitution. They came to power and made a constitution that had been crafted since 1999, and the man took a decision based on the constitution that was kept before him that he met, and people are calling the president names rather than calling the governor who had disobeyed the whole laws. A lot of decisions that were made by court, he disobeyed them. They didn't listen, they didn't say anything. The governor who solely, like he said, abandoned the state assembly member and he called them names that he has fed them, he has paid their children's school fees, rubbished them in public. And today he's one cried. I pray he cries more. In fact, I pray he cries more. He has not even started. My only pain is to those women on the road who are going naked, barefooted, no food, in heat and in the rain, shouting that sin should be reinstated. Today they can see that the same sin has abandoned them and he's calling them. Sin is only interested in power. Whatever he's doing is to see how he can buy.
But he says his spirit has left.
If his spirit has left, why not resign?
And he also said, what makes you think, if I quote him, what makes you think I want to return there? My spirit has left there a long time ago. He said that.
Laurentia, does he take a second? I think he told us that what they were looking for is this red pen. The red pen is still with me. How many seconds will it take him to use that red pen and append his signature that he has resigned, rather than coming to seek the conscience? He's just playing on the conscience of the people. And Rivers people are too matured to be played into this kind of game. It's a gimmick. If you think that your spirit have led there long ago, what is holding you from just appending your signature? Say, today I resign from being the governor of Rivers State. Full stop. You don't even need long statement. Just say I have resigned. You append your signature. Submit it. What does it take? And you're coming to tell us you are tired, your spirit have left there. If your spirit have left, Siminalayi Fubara, please resign now as I talk to you. Resign. Your spirit have never left anywhere. All you are doing is you are looking for how to buy into the conscience of Rivers people. And we are no longer interested in those kind of gimmicks. We are bigger than that, please.
All right.
So I want to appeal to the Honorable, please. Don't feel so much pain for these women and don't be too ashamed for them. Please, allow them to carry their shame. Why do I have to say this? The people get what they desire, what they deserve. This is politics. You saw a situation where benevolent spirits help somebody to crack his nuts. You call yourself as religious people, so spiritually inclined, the righteous people of all people in Nigeria. That attitude of ingratitude, it was okay with you. But tomorrow you will go to places and be asked people to appreciate what they did for you or what you did for them. If you have done people one or two good and you are demanding that people thank you, people appreciate you, but in another way you are asking somebody to humiliate a benevolent spirit who has helped him to crack his hard kernel. Who are you? You didn't stop at that level. You went to the streets when democratic institutions were being destroyed. You never saw the reason why we should continue this democratic trajectory, but you were celebrating it. Many of that was reading, you know me, in whatever platform Wally said the truth the way it is. Many of them, several platforms, were telling and hailing Fubara, with all due respect, His Excellency, that he should continue, he should starve people who were duly elected, people who are chairmen of local government, without even considering those workers who are working at the local government level. We're hailing him, continue, show them. And later you came to the street that you were protesting. And if the man now called you a dark heart, he actually stated who you are. That is you. Fubara didn't say anything bad. He actually described them. I gave them the name that they deserved. Dark heart. Because if you are not of the dark heart, you would have seen that the action of the government then, or the governor, they were wrong. To the extent of impoverishing some river citizens and indigents. That was never your concern. It takes a dark heart to do so. It takes a dark heart to deny somebody's salaries for over a year. It takes a dark heart to ask somebody to go and pull down somebody's structure because you felt that the person will see them and has some facility of life. It takes a dark heart to do so. It takes a dark heart to walk on the street asking for illegality to continue. It takes a darker to ask somebody to come to the world. So even when you see that there is imminent danger, crisis looming, but you never care. All you saw is the man who tried to rescue the situation as empowered by section 305, subsection 3D of the 1990 Constitution as amended. A preventive measure to ensure that he saves you, save your property and mine in River State. But rather you are everywhere. The man is authoritarian. The man is the man hate Rivers people. The man is after resources. He want to capture River State. He want to do this. That was your concern. It takes a darker to think in that manner and behave in such a manner. So Fubara actually addressed them according to who they are. My only concern is if you decide to be a political servitude, please don't judge Nigeria state just because of your mindset. Because whatever happened, they will say, oh, it's the country we found ourselves. Oh, let not Nigeria happen to you. But I've continued to look at these people. You are happening to Nigeria. Not Nigeria. You are happening to Nigeria, killing the Nigeria state. If you could support illegality in the face of a constitutional democracy that tells you in section 11 of the 1990 Constitution that forbids, subsection 4, that forbids anything 3-4-man assembly. But you hear the man, hey, Shebe, carry go. You are right. You are a dark heart. And later you will say, let no Nigeria happen to you. Meanwhile, you are happening to Nigeria.
Right.
So, for me, I also advise Fubara that remember, when I mentioned 3 categories of persons, the belligerent, I talked about the belly and the motion people. Fubara should be weary of their run away from them. What happened? He stick to them. They have held him aground politically. I remember appealing that he should remember Saraki, he should remember Dino, he should remember, I can say several names, that this group of hailers, they are very good, they are professional in that field. They will hail you from the top of the ladder downward, and at the end you will be the one to cry your own cry. Hence the man say, I know where he pitches me.
All right.
They have held him aground. So he should find a way to stand up and undo those wrong things he's done.
But then, interestingly, Emi Feraga, when you're speaking, you said just now that when the suspended governor was in his first public speech since the suspension, he said that he knows where it's pinching him. Very, very true. But on one hand, while he was calling the women names, these women that walked out on the First Lady, they supported him, they were protesting for his return, his reinstatement. Literally, these women were the only voices that have been heard since the state of emergency was declared.
Yes.
And on one hand, the suspended governor lambasted them. While on the other hand, interestingly, the men who have been silent ever since this emergency rule was declared were the ones he acknowledged, actually. So I'm trying to make sense of it. I'm trying to make it make sense to me, because he took his time to hail them, to acknowledge their presence and all of that. Now, that's on one hand. On the beginnings, I want you to throw some light on that. Then secondly, another thing that stood out for me in his speech when he was speaking, he rebuked a lot of persons that had spoken before him. He said that this was about Pa Edwin Clark and not about politics. It's not about him, and he doesn't want anybody, right, to make this about him, and he doesn't want political speech to continue, because that people will go out and say that he has brought his supporters together to speak against the president and against the FCT minister, and he didn't want that. So he said he took a stand against any political statement and said it should be Pa Edwin Clark. But then, interestingly, yet again, all that speech was about him. All the speech he gave, everything he said was about him, his political aspirations, what he has gone through, what he's going through, his efforts to make peace, and how his supporters should take permission from him before doing anything further in order not to frustrate his peace process. Now, I'm trying to make sense. But when I watched that video, at some point I became confused. Like, okay, Siminalayi Fubara, suspended governor, Your Excellency, sir, what exactly do you want? Like, what exactly be clear about your position so that, Rivers people will be clear on, how to even pursue this peace moving forward. Honorable Kingsley.
See, if you are a Bible student, like me, you will understand what Jacob told his first son, Reuben. He said, Reuben, thou art my first son, the excellency of my spirit. He praised Reuben and all that, but a point came when he said, but thou art unstable like waters, you shall not excel. And so, when you see an unstable spirit, a man who is only interested in his personal gains and not the gains of others, a man who is only interested in what he can get and not for others, you see an unstable nature. And such unstable natures would always meet a kind of thing that Sim has just met as it is today. Sim only turned around to begin to talk about those who had dark hearts, those who did that, just because he has made his break. He got a point where going forward is no longer possible, and he's now looking for a solution. Why did we not hear Sim say these things before now? In all the fora, in all the meetings that he has had with his people and in the media, Sim has always boasted to be in charge, to be what even he is not, just because some persons were playing the game of sycophancy, were just around him, praising him and all that. Sim was seeing himself to be everything. But just within this shortest period, he has noticed that the powers I had thought that I have, I don't have them. And he's looking at his political future becoming bleak. And so he needed a return. And that return has been so impossible, taken from where we are today. Why would a Sim, who today is calling the women dark hearts and all that, not say it the day they walked out of the wife of Abbas? And that was working out on the wife of the president. Why didn't Sim make a public statement? Instead, the minister in far China made a public statement and asking that the governor apologize for what he has done, because those women couldn't have been there without his directive.
And the apology was not made.
He didn't do that. Remember the woman who came out to say she was in charge is a member of...
That is Tonye Briggs.
She is the person who is in charge of those women. And this invitation was sent to her. And she mobilized their own women in the guise that they were going to disgrace the wife of the president, which they finally did. But the governor, who today is calling the same women that he has sent to work out on the wife of the president, could not come publicly to say, no, why did you people do this? Because that delegation was for the president. In absentia, she said somebody to represent her. So why would they walk out of her? The governor did not say that. And because he is beginning to see the end, that it is not going to be rosy. And today, he's now calling those women that, this and that, and praising the men who have been drinking everywhere. If you watch them on YouTube, watch them on different, they've been singing praises because the governor went to London, as we heard, to see the president. And they thought that was a little rays of light. The moment they got that information, almost every day they were holding parties, singing praises about Sim. If you see the way they are dancing, they will be dancing, lavishing the money they have all illegally gotten, the money they've stolen from local government areas and all that. If you see them, most I enjoy their dancing steps, but I know that this is a step to the end, very close to the end. Yes, they've stolen all the money. We don't have, we that are in this other side, we've been crying, say, God, help us. But they are now amassed with wealth, showing their wealth and all that. But we also know that everything has time. Rather than Sim, the governor, the suspended governor of Rivers State, blaming those his boys who even caused the problem, because immediately they had that information that they went to see the president in London, nobody was like them again. If you see the posts, like you say, if you read all their posts, like some will say, oh, the light is here again. Oh, we are in charge again. If you see the kind of posts they make, in fact, sometimes some people like, oh, we just sit back and say, I see that we are even failing. We didn't even know that they are already at the end of the road. And so the only thing I would advise him is that if he comes back after the 6th month, he should be able to have learned his lessons, that the game is not about me, it's not about him, it's about us, the Rivers people, it's about we, the Nigerian people. But he has always seen it like it is him. I pay their school fees, I did this, I did that. When did you do all these things? From what source did you do them? That Nyesom Wike gave you opportunity, made you a permanent secretary, made you a accountant general, so you had access to money, you were able to help those who are... Yes, if they can't access the governor directly and access you and you help them, you didn't help them from your father's money, from your own wealth. You didn't do that. So even if you had done that, assuming without conceding that you did that, is it enough to come to the public fora and begin to insult people who were elected with you on that party on the same day? People who worked for you in their various wards and units and local government areas for you to succeed. Some of them you knelt down before that day, and you now started calling them names and all that. I think he was too selfish. He was just about himself and all that. I could use that because of what we are seeing. Sorry if that's a strong word, but with the events that are unveiling, it's possible one could use any kind of word with a man who is not stable. I just quoted Jacob and his son Reuben. Jacob was the first son of Reuben was the first son of Reuben, just like Sim was seen as the first son of Nyesom Wike. He did everything for him. But when the father noticed that this man is not what I thought he was, he told him, yes, you are my first son. Yes, you are this and that. But you are too unstable as waters and you wouldn't succeed. I pray for him. I only pray that, thank God you even tested that position. Some of us even want to test the position. If he ends now, he has become a governor of Rivers State. But if you think your spirit has left, please, kindly resign. Don't waste time.
All right, Amy, you will have something to say before we move on.
Yes, very briefly.
Go ahead.
I agree with my friend, the Honorable, that the double standard is very obvious, like I mentioned earlier as well. But have we given room or thought to a man who was derailing, then suddenly realized himself and tried to start all over again? There are situations like that. There is another thing we are not actually looking at.
Are you going to throw your supporters under the bus in order to do that? That will be the question.
Thank you.
And you're doing it publicly. And so far, you know, in trying to make amends, don't you think it is also worthy to take responsibility of how we got here? Because it was under your leadership and under your administration. Why not take responsibility first of, okay, the court has even indicted me. And when CUPP was talking, they even acknowledged Fubara's errors, because they said that this is not about about constitutional overreach, not about absolving Fubara's errors. I'm putting
on
them
passive.
So which means they actually acknowledge that there were errors that were made by the governor that led us to where we are. So when you say he's making moves, have we thought about this other one? Very well. But one would expect that leadership trumps excuse. Leadership trumps excuse. So you have to take responsibility. And then, but the governor so far, the suspended governor so far has not taken responsibility for anything that has happened. Rather, what we saw that there was a throwing of
blames.
Not even blames. He threw his supporters under the bus, the women, particularly
Loresha,
under the bus. So make it make sense to me how you're going to do that.
Loresha,
remember, or how he intends to do that.
That was where I was actually going. Okay. Remember, I just said now there is another aspect we're not actually looking at.
Go ahead.
And I want to reveal it now. When we talk about supporters, does suspended governor Siminalayi Fubara has supporters?
Good question.
In the recess, really have supporters. By my own analysis and evaluation, Fubara doesn't really have supporters. What he has were a group of people who are looking for a means to avenge their political misfortune
Personal vendetta.
Then 2, a group of people who felt that this is our opportunity to chop. And they saw Governor Fubara as the means, the straw to draw the resources. Then another group of people who felt so bitter about the politicking of Chief Wike. So how do we bring him down for our own political interest? And they saw Governor Fubara as the means towards achieving their end. They galvanize themselves, disguise themselves as supporters. Meanwhile, their end, they have something different they want to achieve outside the well-being and progress of Governor Fubara politically. So you can't call this group of people supporters. I can mention names. I have grouped them. Those who felt that Wike worked against their own preferred presidential candidates in Rivers State, who felt that the only way now to pay this man back is to support a man who is fighting him now, bring him down. These are not supporters. The obedient group, these are not supporters. They only see you as a tool towards achieving their own end. And Governor Fubara played to the gallery to become that tool. Is it the other one who felt that Wike is giving the ministerial appointment instead of their own person from their own camp? So the only way now to express that bitterness is to ensure that they pit tent with somebody who can help bring this other one down. You call that one supporters. So in the actual sense, or you are talking about those who felt that the straw is not here, so let us suck. Some people have been, so we need to suck now and get as much as we can get, which are classified as political contractors.
Merchant crisis.
That is the
crisis
merchant. Different from the political contractors. These are not supporters.
Okay.
They are only looking for means to achieve what they are actually looking at. They wanted to achieve something. Unfortunately, Governor Fubara didn't sit back, watch well. He played to the gallery and became the tool in their hands. And they have misled him, derailed him, run him aground. Now the man is actually discovering some of these things. He said, you are a dark heart. I see a dark heart. People of unforgivable with unforgivable spirits. The man may have worked against you, but now instead of you coming openly, you decided to use me as the means towards achieving. You are a dark heart.
So now you feel that he has understood what
he's not coming to test with reality.
But recall that, okay, you were on the guest on that show because when this happened, the walkout on the First Lady happened, and Tonya Briggs Onide came out to take responsibility of the women that acted like that. I did a little bit of research, and I found out that he was commissioner under the then River State governor, which was Nyesom Wike, commissioner for tourism. And I think that was in 2015. And there were 1 year or less than 1 year into his office, there were complaints about her lack of performance. And there were calls for her sack.
Yes.
And then later, I think December 2016, but I know in 2016, E.M. Wike, the then governor of Rivers State, when he was governor in 2016, suspended Tonya Briggs Onide. Now, years down the line, she is the one that is spearheading these women that, embarrassed the First Lady. That day, I asked the question, is this about the support of the suspended governor, or is the suspended governor a proxy in his own war? And I have asked this question over and over, long before now, and it appeared that a lot of persons were not seeing what I was seeing at that time. I was asking, is the suspended governor a proxy in his own war, but thinking that he is the arrowhead? Right. Now, you have said that the suspended governor is or has been used as a tool for persons with interest other than genuine support for him.
Yes.
Akumefle, do you agree with that before we move on?
Sure.
You agree with that as well?
Very simple.
And at this point, do you think that the suspended governor may have realized this fact.
He has not realized it.
Because he's still hailing.
He's only interested in his personal gains. He hasn't realized anything. That's the only place I differ with my friend. He has not realized anything. For now, he is seeing that he's meeting his brick wall. So the only thing to do is to play the legality. It's becoming so psychophantic because he wants to get what he wants. When he gets what he wanted now, you will see him. It's as simple as that. He's not politically grounded.
I think that interesting times in River State politics, like this is, it appears that a different chapter is about to be opened. Like I said, when the court judgments came previously and all of that, I always say we have entered another chapter of River State crisis. And I believe strongly that we have entered another chapter of River State crisis. And you know, on Open Conversation, we always tell you as it is. I say this because now, in the subsequent negotiations, it is highly possible that some of these persons may no longer be relevant in if the governor may return. You know, it's going to play out differently. I am interested to see the position that these people, these men, whom the governor is hailing now, and who have taken a certain position, if they will still stand by the governor, if by the time he returns, they are no longer in the cabinet, or they are no longer within the corridor of power. According to Emi Feraga, they have been using straw to milk the system. If they are unable to access that the same River State Commonwealth, I'm interested to know the position they will take.
It's very simple. It's very, very simple. Look at it. He mentioned the different groups who are not supporters. Now, the groups of those who left Yesomwike because of the clash had with Atiku, those who wanted Atiku, that group is there. They are not there to support Sim because they never supported Sim from the beginning. The groups of Rotimi Amechi who felt that they are no longer in power. So the only place to get something is coming to support Sim. Yeah. That group is there. The group of the obese who failed in election and do not have any other place. So that, if you notice, these are different groups. Okay. And that's why they don't call the name of their party. They only go by the name Simplified. Everybody is simplified. So because coming from
it's a convergence.
APC faction of Amechi, yes, they are simplified now. Okay. The OB people, they are all simplified. The what's it called?
Atiku Abubakar.
The Atiku Abubakar group of people, they are all simplified. All these groups, none supported Sim. Then the who was removed and was all those, they are all now simplified. And those who felt we remained with Sim because we needed to take from the straw. Let us get that no party, just simplify. Now the moment Sim now as it is now, we are in a very, very serious situation now. If Sim peradventure joins the APC, it means that Tony Okocha's people have taken Sim, because that's the APC that is recognized at the national. So where would the Amechi faction be? That's the question. Now, if Sim joins the APC, where will the Atiku people be? Another question. If Sim joins the APC, those who felt I am more simplified than others, where would they be? So because you don't recognize Tony, and like Emeka Beke faction, who are they? You don't recognize Tony. Will you go back to Tony?
Then Tony Koda has aspiration.
Those aspirations are all dead on arrival because even the same may not even have the second tenor. He just needs a safe landing because second tenor will be far from him. So if you look at this same thing, the Amechi faction is already trying to form the third force that they are struggling to be part of. So if they forms it and Sim is not going with them, are they still going to be simplified? So if Atiku gets the PDP ticket as he's struggling, and this other Atiku people go back to support Atiku, will they still be simplified? A lot of issues are surrounding this whole game.
Like I said, we have entered another. We are about to enter.
And we are entering into a new phase
of River State.
Yeah, reverse politics. So let's see how the thing goes.
And now the truth will be revealed as to who is who and what they stand for originally.
That is when we will now know where Sim is.
The truth is even there already. Those who want to see, we see. Those who don't want to see, we not see.